What up, what up, what up, Metal Bees? Hey guys, y'all had questions, we've got answers, so that's what we're doing in this video today. We went to Instagram and we went to YouTube, asking you all what kind of questions you all had about our life, and you all responded. So that's what this video is today.
Madison's gonna ask the first question, but I wanted to tell you guys, we actually got a lot more questions this time than we did last time, so we can't answer all of them. We were talking about this and don't really know how to say it, but this, well, just this Q&A was not meant to be about like sustainability, although it is the lifestyle we live. That's not what we wanted to focus this Q&A on. So we are answering mostly questions that have to do with like our life, and there's some sustainability like sprinkled in, but this wasn't like advice on how to be sustainable like my channel is, just to clarify.
Yeah, and also just wanted to say thank you all for responding to the questions. Last time it was kind of like random and I got 4 or 5, so looking forward to it.
Okay, she's gonna go first.
Okay.
I gave each of us 8 questions.
This question says, what do you enjoy the most about living in San Antonio? And basically asks like, what's your favorite place or your favorite restaurant? What I enjoy most about living in San Antonio is how diverse it is. Honestly, I really appreciate that. And then another thing that I enjoy is the city's like green spaces. They have really good trail systems here that I ride my bike and run on often. And then, as you guys know, we're always at one of our favorite parks, Brackenridge Park, playing Pokemon, so that's fun. And then a favorite restaurant of ours, which is more recent, we haven't been able to get out a lot because of the pandemic, but the Vegan Avenue is freaking baller. It's obviously a vegan restaurant in San Antonio, and it has a very, again, sticking with the word diverse, menu. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's also my favorite restaurant, so we'll just make that a 2-in-1. It's both of our favorite. Okay, this person wants to know, what were you guys like as kids, like elementary age? Your favorite activities, toys, shows, etc. I thought this was an interesting question because I feel like we never talk about our past. Although Madison and I grew up very differently, so I thought this could be fun to answer. I'll just go first and I'll try to make it quick. So elementary age, I had a bunch of different friend groups in elementary. Like I remember, because I'm thinking,
cool kid,
no. Like I switched friend groups, like from 3rd to 4th to 5th grade. This plays into psychology and who I am a lot, which I've discovered recently. But so yeah, my friend groups, like I was in elementary. My favorite activities, I don't know. I really wanted to play soccer. I wasn't in any sports as an elementary aged person. My parents didn't want to take me to practice and stuff, which is still sad to this day. Toys, I don't think I was into toys by the time I was in elementary school. I was always really into makeup was my thing. I like doing my hair. Clothes, you guys know that used to be very much me, and even back then it was. My favorite show was for sure Lizzie McGuire.
When I was around elementary school age, I really didn't watch a lot of TV. I was always outside, riding my bikes, running around, playing hide and go seek. And then I really had a thing for Spider-Man 2. That was like my show, if you call it a show, but I had like all the t-shirts and stuff like that. So just a very active kid, still a very active adult.
Madison always says she didn't watch TV, but then she knows shows that I don't even know. And I'm like, I thought you didn't watch TV. All kids watch TV. Just because you were outside a lot doesn't mean you didn't also watch TV. And we used to go camping a lot, but it was like elementary school, and then we like stopped doing it once I was in like middle school-ish, so I kind of forget about that, but that was a big part of my life, and going to the lake.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to get another cat?
Do you like that I gave you that one?
Gosh.
Madison does not like pets. She doesn't even like Tippy.
I tolerate Tippy. He's all right. But no, I personally would love it if we could never have any other pets. Currently we have Tippy inside. And
Stop.
What?
She's gonna say we have 3 outside cats.
It's honestly more than 3 outside cats. Shelby has adopted the community, taken it under her wing, and feeds everything from skunks and possums to the community of cats in our backyard. So absolutely not. I would not want to get another cat.
Okay, the cat, whatever. The cats live outside. I've changed their feeding schedule so that the possums and the skunks don't get to eat it, because we were having that problem for a while. We're definitely going to get more pets in the future. Probably not until Tippy is gone, but no way am I going to live the rest of my life without another pet ever. I don't care what Madison says. That's ridiculous. So
Right.
it'll just be a fun discussion when it comes time to do so, but not anytime soon. How's married life treating you guys? Does it feel any different? And I definitely don't feel like it's different at all. I just don't. It doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Also, you tell them how you feel while I turn down the brightness because the sun finally came out a little bit.
So as far as how I feel about married life, nothing's really changed much. It just seemed like the consecutive next step when you really, really like someone and want to be with them for the rest of your life. I did go through kind of a honeymoon stage though, where I was super sweet and just like, oh my gosh, I feel like you're glowing differently when I look at you and stuff. But that died down real quick, and now we're just back to normal.
I feel like that was literally It's hard because normally I have my phone remoting to the camera so I can adjust the lighting as the sun changes. But because I'm looking at the questions, I can't also monitor the lighting. So sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it just doesn't feel that different to me. I feel like it's something we always knew we just needed to do, and then we did it, and we've been together for 6 years before we got married, so I don't know, it just didn't feel that different.
All right, next one. Who is worse when it comes to PMS? My guess is Shelby. I am definitely way worse when it comes to PMSing. I get super bad cramps. And then, the week or so before, I'm just like walking around farting up a storm.
Madison only farts when she's PMSing, but a lot.
But I don't really get moody or anything. It's just like, as far as who's worse when it comes to PMS, it's like worse on my body. Like my body just gets beat down. Mm-hmm. And I get really bad cravings. I'm like, I used to be able to like not eat all these sweets, but like all I want is sweets now. So it's really tough.
Yeah, I like how someone was like, my assumption is it's Shelby. I was like, no, definitely not. This person wants to know, do you think you will regret not doing van life in the future? I don't even know what to say. What do you think? I feel very much like, yes, I might, and maybe no, I won't. But you go ahead while I'm thinking.
I feel like, honestly, I don't regret that we didn't do van life, because looking back, it's kind of sad that like in today's society, we glorify it so much because inflation has created a crazy, like unrealistic price for millennials to be able to afford homes when you look at stuff like student debt, etc., medical bills.
Just also wages have stayed stagnant, while like price of like rent and property and everything just keeps going up.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So there's that. And then the other thing is like, I don't know, space-wise, I feel like we would have been not happy with that. Just because it is a super small space. Like even when we were working on it, it's like, okay, we're going to be in this space all the time, not have a restroom that we can access all the time, not have a shower available. And like, especially during a pandemic right now, like that's not even feasible to go and be able to do those things like you previously would have done. So I think I'm okay with kind of like the steps that we've taken, and I'm looking forward to us, which we're still thinking about, like completing it and having it as like a little getaway weekend vehicle. So we talked to our handyman recently about it, see if he could help us out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna regret it, because I still want travel to be a huge part of my life, and I'm still gonna do all the things I wanted to do when we wanted to live in the van. But who knows? Maybe I will.
Yeah, I don't regret it, but
not yet. They're asking like in the future.
No, I don't think so. I'm okay, especially if it's like we're still building it and we're still gonna like. I feel like it's more comfortable having it as a getaway vehicle versus like, this is my place where all my stuff is, and like sleeping in parking lots and whatever on the road all the time. I
think that's another part of it, why I'm glad we didn't end up doing it, because I do think the like sleeping in parking lots all the time would make me very paranoid. I think it fucks with your mental, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like as glamorous as it has become for the reasons that I mentioned, like it's almost like another form of homelessness. I mean, I don't know if we want to get into that, but I mean, if you lose your house and you have a vehicle, then you would live in your vehicle and kind of like hop around from random spaces to random spaces. And
that's been like a whole topic of discussion around it, is like glorifying homelessness. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, we were very fortunate to, you know, some things changed in our life and we didn't go that route, but I'm okay with like the fact that we didn't do that. I don't think I'll regret it. So.
Yeah. Well, also, I don't know if you guys know, the reason we ended up not doing it was for reasons outside of our control. And like the reason we didn't end up doing it, we can't regret not going because of it. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's fine.
What is Madison's job? So I'm actually in energy efficiency. I do consulting and like project coordinating for a bunch of utility customers across the country. And it's kind of my own little way of, you know, doing good for the environment. So we work with, like I said, a bunch of different customers, helping them with different energy efficiency projects. So that is basically what I do in a nutshell.
Yeah. I saw some questions about specifics about Madison's job, and I think that's as much detail as we can do. Is she works in energy efficiency.
And there are a lot of different things you can do with an environmental studies degree, but a big chunk of those jobs is a type of consulting. Like the last job that I had was a different form of consulting regarding the environment. This is like another different form of consulting in the environment. So yeah.
Cool. How would you deal with a partner that straight up doesn't care about the environment and the leading by example doesn't work?
Oh no, that's not me, is it?
No, like, so that's the thing. I picked this out because obviously I am not able to speak to this. Like, my only requirement when I was looking for a partner in college, I wouldn't say looking for, but like everyone thinks about like, what do I want in a partner? Because college is like the time you're supposed to be able to find the perfect person. And it was like, I don't have any requirements really, except I need them to care about the planet. Like that's literally my whole dream was like, I just want this person to help in my fight of like caring for this earth. That's like all I wanted. Mm-hmm. You qualified.
All right, well that's good. I'm still around, so I must have checked your box.
Right. I don't think personally I would have ever been able to have developed a relationship with someone who didn't care about that.
Yeah.
But that's just, obviously I am like the most extreme person, not the most extreme, but one of the most extreme people when it comes to this, and like that's just my standard. So I don't really know what I would do if that were the case. I mean, I picked this question out to say that in my experience, like when Madison doesn't want to do something right, like that's better for the planet, I take that step and do it for her. I don't know how far that can go if someone just doesn't give a shit and you're always doing everything for them. But like, for instance, my sister on like the dishwashing stuff, like she uses stuff in plastic bottles, so I told her stop buying it, just use mine that comes in the refillable one that I do, you know. I just take that step. When Madison doesn't want to make her own mouthwash because it's time intensive to save the plastic bottles, I do it. You know, it's that sort of stuff. What do you think?
But I'm also okay with that sort of stuff. It'd be different if it was like you were doing those things and I still was like not having it. But I'm like, you know, mouthwash is mouthwash. If it's going to be there when I need it, then I'll use it.
What would you do if, well, this is hard to explain because you don't care more than I do, but let's say you cared more than I do and I just didn't give a shit. Like, say you were me, what would you do?
I mean, I feel like that would have came out in the like beginning when you're dating someone. You're like, okay, this is, I can't deal with this.
Okay, but I feel like this question is coming from, they're already dating someone who doesn't care.
Stop dating them.
That's it?
Yeah.
You just can't be with someone who doesn't care about the environment. That's what the advice you're going to give?
Some people have hard, like, no.
Okay, but what if that's not their hard no? What can they do to change their mind? That's what they're asking.
There are plenty of fish in the ocean. That's what I would do. Smoking, hard no.
Okay, but if you wanted to change someone's mind, what would you do? What could you do?
I would watch Shelby on YouTube and follow some of her tips to change my partner's lifestyle instead of telling them bye.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have an answer for you. If anybody in the comments has an answer, would love to hear it. But just like, that really sucks. I'm so sorry. I wouldn't have entered the relationship.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you would have phased it out, but I mean.
Yeah. Okay, your turn.
Is Madison planning to start a solo YouTube channel? Well, this kind of more or less like is my channel, and then the big channel is Shelby's. I'm answering all the comments. Shelby still helps me out a lot with like executive edits, I call them, on my videos, but I'm editing all the videos. I'm like 100% involved in this channel. Kind of have a lifestyle channel that we're doing together because we're a big part of each other's lives, but this basically is my channel.
Yeah,
so.
like, well, we were talking about it, and it was like, if Madison made another channel, it would have to be about something other than her life, which is what this channel is. So then what would that be? And she doesn't, actually, we played around with some ideas about sustainable investing, sustainable finance and that sort of thing, which, you know, maybe in the future, I don't know, but right now it's not in the cards. It's not like, you know, priority number one. Right now, this channel is Madison's priority number one.
Yeah, and a big priority with me was just like staying consistent. And I'm like, if I can just keep nailing that, then we'll see what else, like what other interests or stuff I come up with, you know, as this channel continues to grow. So, yeah.
Okay, so you guys might know, my sister also lives here. If you didn't know that, my sister lives here because she's in school, she lives with us, whatever. I got a couple questions about her. So one is Brittany Shelby's older sister or younger sister? And the other one is, how does your sister deal with zero waste swaps in the house you all live in? Like, does she partake in them or just ignore them? Oh, and someone also added to that, and vegan food. So Brittany is my younger sister, 2 years younger to be exact. And I kind of gave an example already earlier about like the dish soap. Like, I don't make her buy her own dish soap. We don't have like 2 dish soaps sitting out. I just pay for it. I refill it. I do all of that because obviously it's cutting down on waste, and like it looks cuter too to not have those plastic bottles. I don't like how they look. And I think pretty much other than that, Brittany's life is no different living with me than it would be if she was not living with me.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like people always ask like, what do you do if you have roommates and they don't care and da-da-da. I'm like, that's been my life for like so long. I just live my life. I don't worry about how other people live their lives. I do the best I can do, and I don't try to control other people.
And why is that?
And
why is that? You cannot do all the good the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do.
Right. I think there are so many different things we can do personally that is in our control before we worry about what other people are doing. And that doesn't mean that I don't make like one-off handed comments to Brittany here about you could do this or you should do that, because I do. But I just, you know what I mean? I have enough going on in my life without trying to like criticize her and follow her around and tell her what to do and whatever. So
yeah, I mean, it happens. You can't force things on people, but you can make kind suggestions. But it's like, you know, if the dish soap is something that's easy to get around, then like she doesn't have to buy dish soap because Shelby buys it. But like you look in the fridge, it's like there's her cow milk, there's our oat milk. I mean, that's just how it is. She has her Tide, we have our drops. So, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. So you can't change everything about people, but I mean, every now and then she'll go out to eat at a vegan restaurant with us.
Truth here is Brittany gonna like this?
This is gonna be messy as fuck.
Huh? Let's see the inside. Always gotta get the close up.
Or partake in dinner night or something like that. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the other part about the question about vegan food is like, Madison already said this, but she does her own thing. We do communal meals sometimes, but like we grocery shop separately. Most of our meals are done separately. Like we're living different lives. Right now she's working nights. So like she's literally asleep right now. So our lives are not like completely connected. So yeah, there's that. Okay, your turn.
Next question for me is, are you really as bad as planning as Shelby makes out? And this is actually a pretty funny question because in reality, I'm not bad at planning. My entire job is to plan and coordinate people and places, materials, food, and things. And I do that very well. But then when it comes to like outside of work life, I'm literally just like, let's figure stuff out. I don't like to plan. I like to just do stuff and see what happens. Maybe the restaurant's closed. Maybe there's going to be a
protest.
Maybe there's going to be a protest at a restaurant that you're trying to eat at, or like, I literally just don't care. I love the what ifs.
But that's not what you're doing. You are planning for us to do something and it doesn't work because you didn't do the due diligence to make sure that it's going to work.
That's true. So, I mean, again, with work, I have to put a lot of due diligence into things, but So we're gonna reference that Project Poyo location that was closed. So I'll like drop a clip in. Sometimes when I plan things, they don't go according to plan.
Sometimes?
This is one of those.
No. What percentage of the time?
50%.
Does this place look open to y'all?
But basically with this, you know, I kind of looked at their website and I was like, Google is saying this is a location, even though I don't know about it. I mean, let's go and let's find out. So yeah, I just kind of put very minimal effort into things because I'm like, I don't really care. I'm down for an adventure. And it's also nice too that outside of work, Shelby plans a lot of like basically all of our vacations and stuff.
All of our vacations. The answer to the question is yes. Madison.
Kinda.
Are you as bad at planning as I have made you out to be?
Outside of work, yes.
Okay. This question, I hinted at this earlier in the video, but this question is basically, I'll put it on the screen, but the consensus is, how are you guys so confident? That's the basis of the question.
Okay.
And I said I'll put it on the screen. Madison will put it on the screen.
Yeah.
I thought about this after I read it. And there's two parts of this. Number one, I'm not. I'm really not. Like, the things that this person referenced in their question was like, because I don't wear a bra, because I don't shave, because I don't like do the things that are like expected of women in society. Yeah, I guess I do those things and I'm not worried about what other people think. But in general, I'm not the most confident person. I'm incredibly reclusive. I'm incredibly like scared to talk to people. I get anxiety in like public situations. I'm always worried someone's judging me. So I wouldn't say that I'm a confident person. Mm-hmm. But I would say that in many cases, I have learned to not care about what other people think I should and shouldn't be doing. Simply because as a child, me and my mom had a very tumultuous relationship. We did not get along. I could not stand her and she treated me very poorly. And so she was always telling me what I should look like and what I should do and what is expected of me. And because of our differences, I was always wanting to fight against what she said. Mm-hmm. And so I think that this comes from that. I think that my mom always telling me that I should be shaving, I shouldn't dye my hair, I shouldn't do this and I should do that. I think a lot of who I am is like in opposition to the things that she said. Not to this day.
What a rebel.
But I'm just saying, like, the psychology of it when I was thinking about it. I probably do a lot of the things and like don't give a fuck what other people think because that's how I was with my mom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you?
I don't know. I guess I give a lot of my confidence around just not caring what anyone else thinks, like, at all. I guess that comes from the freedom of just not having all the things that you said you had placed upon you as a kid. I had the freedom to like make my own choices and develop things that I liked and didn't like, and no one really ever told me what to do. So yeah, I kind of did what I wanted.
I think also a general tip that helps with confidence is like 9 times out of 10, you think someone is looking at you or judging you or thinking something about you, and they're just not. Like, think about how often you go out in public and you look at someone and you judge them and you look at their legs and you look at their hair and you look at if they're wearing a bra. Rarely, right? Rarely do you look at someone and judge them in that way. I mean, I don't know. I don't. Maybe other people do.
Maybe.
But that sometimes helps me when I'm feeling very self-conscious. Like, probably no one gives a fuck. Literally, probably no one here gives a fuck. So
this is a 3-part question. The questions are, what's one thing you've always wanted to do together? What's a strange quirk that your partner has that you love? What's the craziest thing you've done together? Love you guys. Oh, thanks. So sweet. Okay. One thing we've always wanted to do together, we wanted to go to Thailand last year for our honeymoon because we've never been there before, but that got cut short.
Cut short? Did we go?
But that got...
We didn't go.
We didn't end up going to Thailand because of the pandemic, so we pivoted and did our road trip to the Northeast. A strange quirk that my partner does that I love. What is a strange quirk that you do? Oh yeah, you flap your hands. I was thinking of some strange quirks that I'm like, oh, I don't really like that she does that. Like Shelby picks her like dead ends and she drops them in the back seat of the car all the time. I'm like, God, I hate that. But yeah,
thanks, babe.
That's definitely something I think is super cute when you flap your hands when you get all excited. And then the craziest thing that we've done together.
We've done some dumb shit.
Yeah, we've done
We road trip from California to Texas and slept in my car the whole time.
Yes.
when we were broke. We went kayaking in sea caves once.
In the ocean. That was fun. Shelby doesn't do crazy very well. She kind of keeps me tame. When I'm like, let's go do this thing that's like kind of sketchy, because guys, I'm not self-aware like at all of situations, or like I'm just surprised that I haven't been kidnapped to this point. Not to joke about kidnapping, but legit, like I've been in a situation where
a couple
where it's like someone said food and I went, and then I was like, hey, this is like, I started texting Shelby and she's like, you need to get out of there. Like, you don't know this person. Just because they said you're going to cook you food doesn't mean you go over to their house. And I'm like, you're right.
I can think of multiple times Madison almost got kidnapped. Like, not that we know they were kidnappers, but like if they were, she would be fucked.
Crazy though. I'm over here thinking like skydiving, swimming with sharks. Like we haven't done any of that stuff.
What? Who does that?
Shelby's like, we didn't plan a vacation. That was so crazy. Like,
what?
Our versions of crazy are a little different. I think you can go ahead and do yours.
Okay. Well, speaking of the honeymoon, someone asked, did you go to Cape Cod on your honeymoon? If you could go back anywhere from your honeymoon, where would you go back, assuming travel was safe and normal again? Yeah, who knows if that's ever going to happen. Honestly, though, I feel like the honeymoon was like, we were just as safe, if not more safe, than we are when we're home. And we are in Texas right now, literally allowed to do almost anything we want.
Yeah.
Like, restaurants are open, you can go to the grocery store, there's no rules about who can gather, there's nothing, you know what I mean? And so when we were traveling, took it very seriously. Like, we didn't eat out at restaurants, we didn't go to gatherings, we didn't do public events, like, we didn't stay in shared spaces. I think the way we traveled is perfectly fine, which is why we did it, right? That's why we didn't fly to Thailand, and instead we did the road trip. Regardless, that wasn't your question. So, yes, we went to Cape Cod on our honeymoon. I actually really, really liked it. I know Cape Cod is a popular spot for summer, but I think it was beautiful in the fall, and I would love to go back. And it was very, like, not busy at all. Well, being off season and also pandemic. So I really, really like Cape Cod. It's probably one of my favorite. I love the whole fucking trip. I can't even say that.
Yeah.
But I would go back to literally almost anywhere we went during the honeymoon. Mm-hmm. And I struggle because I feel like when I travel, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go back to that place because I've already been there. There's so much of the world to see. But I love Vermont. My goal is to spend the fall in Vermont next year. Fingers crossed that works out.
Yeah.
I loved Cape Cod. Would love to go back there. Loved Salem. Yeah. What about you?
I mean, my feelings are very, very similar. It's so crazy when we've been to both, like, the East and West Coast, how, like, individually beautiful they both are. And then you get down to, like, the Gulf Coast, and it's, like, oil, hot, sticky, nasty. And I'm like, come on. I mean, maybe we're all so used to it, you know, and that was, like, different. And I feel like it is just beautiful over there, both coasts, for different reasons.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't know. I would go back. I thought it was really pretty. We definitely have to give the East Coast another go, because we've always been like, oh, West Coast. And once we went to California, we were like, oh, let's go again. But yeah, we owe the East Coast another trip for sure.
Okay. One more for each of us. Go.
This says, can you, if comfortable, show your rings and tell how you chose them? I'm looking for me and my partner. So here's my ring. I am really not into rings and jewelry at all. Like, I have nothing on my fingers or my wrist. But I was like, you know, it'd be kind of weird to, like, we had our little ceremony at Shelby's parents' house and not exchange anything. We're definitely already known as the weird people who do everything differently. So, like, the week before, maybe even, like, a couple of days before, straight up, I was like, I gotta have something. So I got a silicone ring, and it literally doesn't even fit. That's why I have it on my middle finger.
A lot of you guys have caught on and are like, why are you wearing it there?
Yeah, I had it on my ring finger, but it slides on and off a lot, and my fingers also get, like, bigger when it's hot, and they shrink a lot when it's cold. So I was like, I'll just put it on my middle finger. I wasn't even supposed to, like, keep wearing it. I was like, ugh.
She's lost it multiple times and it miraculously reappears.
Yeah, so I'm like, until I lose it, I'll keep wearing it. And so I still wear it.
Yeah, I have a whole video about my ring over on my channel if you guys want to check that out. Maybe Madison will link it here if she can remember. But my ring is made by a small Etsy seller, and doesn't have diamonds, it's a moissanite. Last one. Have either of you ever considered public speaking in schools about the importance of wasting less, recycling, and zero swaps? I think that would be a great idea, especially in lower income areas where people don't have access to that type of information. Have you ever thought about doing that?
Both of us have actually done public speaking when we were in college about stuff like that. So we were both part of our campus's like sustainability
office.
Yeah.
It's like the department that handles sustainability for the school.
Through being a part of the office, we'd go around and like we were the people who gave the events where you're like handing out free water bottles and telling people like the information about it and like why it's sustainable and stuff. And then yeah, Shelby's been really wanting to do some public speaking recently.
Yeah, so this is an interesting question. The information I put out there on the internet is like anyone can access it, right? And so I think that's a form of outreach that can reach anyone. So that's why it's my primary source of like, you know, stuff that I'm doing. And when people ask me questions like this, I think they don't realize how time intensive it is to set up public speakings and to prepare a speech on top of what I'm already doing. But so like I don't think that's something that everyone would want to do, or like that you should expect of someone just because they do stuff on the internet. That's the only reason I preface it that way. But it just so happens that public speaking is a huge passion of mine. Like Madison said, we used to do it in college. I did it for 2 years in college, and I was my bosses always told me I was like really, really good at it. And obviously also my job right now is public speaking, just like in my house. But yeah, one of my goals for 2020 and going into 2021, since it didn't work out last year, was to do public speaking. Obviously the pandemic makes that difficult. But yeah, my goal has always been to do more public speaking events. Yeah, I'm always working on it. It's just hard right now.
All right, folks, there you have it. We each answered 8 questions, and we kind of like double dipped if you all wanted to hear what both of us had to say on the questions. So that's really all we have for you all today. I hope you all like this video. We don't do these often, but when we do, look out for questions on Instagram, and then we'll post them on YouTube as well. So yeah, until next time.
Catch you later, Maddlebees.